You have two options with self-talk after a rejection. One option, it's basically to be delusional and use that as a way to just interrupt the pattern that you normally have. Even if you don't fully believe the delusional thing you say, it helps get yourself out of getting caught in that cycle of like, oh, I'm not tall enough, I'm this, every girl thinks I'm ugly, whatever. So what you want to do in this case is to basically say something along the lines of, that was 1,000 out of 10 just because I approached. Or she wanted me, but she was too shy. She wanted me, but she had a boyfriend, right? To be delusional. And this helps you because you're probably being delusional in the opposite direction right now. You're probably being delusionally unconfident, right? Delusionally negative in your self-talk. That's the vast majority of men, thinking no woman would ever want them and black pill and all this kind of crap. So you want to move the needle in the opposite direction. And that's one way to do it. And you can do this in a number of ways. Whenever you are walking around, a girl looks at you, even if she just looks at you for half a second, damn, she wanted me. She was checking me out. And what's going to happen, you do this more and more, and it gives you more incentive to put yourself out there and actually talk to women. And yeah, some of them will not be interested, but those ones, okay, you say what I just said earlier. And if they're not interested, obviously be respectful, be empathetic. This is not about being like, you know, the overly aggressive guy that doesn't take no for an answer, but you at least put yourself out there. And a lot of the women you do this with will be receptive, especially because you're going to be coming at it with a certain level of swag, certain level of confidence, because you're telling yourself she wants me. You're telling yourself this positive message. You're coming at it with a positive assumption. And that affects the way you carry yourself, the way you think, the way you act, the way you feel. And then you're more likely to get a positive response. And then anytime you get a positive response, it creates a positive feedback loop. Because now you have some evidence that it does work, at least some of the time. And before, really, you probably thought it was never going to work. It was never going to happen. You were never going to get a positive reaction. And so you get one number, you get, you know, make out with a girl, take her to the dance floor, or even she's just being receptive and laughing at everything you say, whatever it is. Now you have more reinforcement that these delusional things you're telling yourself are not even delusional. Oh, now you tell yourself she wanted me and she actually did want you, right? Now you have real evidence, and now it becomes more grounded, becomes tethered in something, anchored in something. And then you keep doing this, you take more action, you start getting more positive reactions. The negative reactions you dismiss, right? The negative reactions, you say, oh, she wanted me, but she had a boyfriend, right? Something like that. And you don't overthink it, don't fixate on it, but you're already disproving your previous belief, because your previous belief that was that this would never work. And that if a girl didn't like you, it would be awful. It would be catastrophic. It would be this horrendous situation where her boyfriend beats you up or something. And that, of course, doesn't happen, right? It's not nearly as negative as you thought. So the rejections aren't as bad as you thought. You don't give them meaning. And then whenever you get a positive response, you're giving yourself more reason to take more action, to be more bold, to be more assertive. And this creates an upward spiral where the way you see yourself and the way you act completely change. The way women respond to you changes. And you start becoming charismatic. You start having what's known as sexual magnetism or animal magnetism. That's the way you cultivate it. It's with positive delusion. Because what you'll notice is guys who have that it factor, guys who are very charismatic, especially with women, they tend to be one of two categories. One is the guy who you would expect, the guy who's tall and good looking. And it's like unsurprising that he has those beliefs. And he got those beliefs because he was reinforced and told growing up that he's special, he's attractive, he's good, etc., whatever. And so it's very easy for him to cultivate that belief system and then start having that energy. The world is being delusional for him, right? It's giving him positive beliefs for him. And so he thinks every woman wants him, and he puts himself out there more, and sometimes it works, and then he gets on that spiral. The other category is the guy who's not particularly good looking, and you are shocked that how is this guy with such hot women? And you assume he must be rich. He must, maybe has a huge dick. People say things when they meet a guy like this, right? I've had a number of friends, and I'm sure you have too, who bat out of their league, quote unquote, who just have this charisma, this animal magnetism, and it's not clear why. Or you'll be at a club. A lot of you guys are like, it's only looks. That's all that matters. Go to any club any night and you'll see average guys with hot women. Like, you just have to literally leave the house and you'll see proof of that. I know that's a lot to ask for, but this is how this is what you'll notice, is that there's a good amount of guys who are average who crush it, right? And I've done interviews with a number of guys like this. I've done testimonials of guys who are below average and then end up crushing it. And they end up getting this magnetism, this charisma that comes from, at first, a place where they have very negative beliefs. They don't believe women find them attractive, etc. But they start seeing little wins. They see a girl's into them. They latch onto that, and that becomes a spiral of positive delusion that ends up being reality. It starts with delusion. Because right now, your delusions are holding you back. Right now, your delusions are that no woman will want you, that approaching is creepy, that everything that you try is going to fail, it's not going to work. And if you're like, no, I don't believe that. If you didn't believe that, you would be approaching all the time. Every hot girl you saw, every Friday, Saturday. If you don't have an active sex life and you don't have a rotation and you're not satisfied, which chances are, if you're watching this channel, that's you, unless you just watch it for entertainment. If that's the case, you would be doing it unless you had beliefs that it wouldn't work. That is necessarily true. You have some belief that it wouldn't work, or that it would be really hard and awkward and bad. You have those beliefs. You might not want to admit you have it, but you have negative self-delusional beliefs. And the way you know they're delusional is because 99% of you who are in that category have barely tried. You've barely gone out to approach. Maybe you've done a handful of times, but you've never gone to a bar and club and approached every hot girl you saw and gotten up to like 40, 50 and, really put yourself out there and tried to move things forward and taken risks, asked the girls out. 99% of you have never done that once. And the few who have done that 2 or 3 times. But that proves that you must have some negative delusional belief that cold approach is not going to work for you, that it's creepy, that you're not good looking enough. You have some kind of belief holding you back. And those beliefs are delusional because you haven't truly tested them, right? If you've done 50 approaches total, you haven't really tested them. If you've done 500, now we're talking, right? If you've actually approached 500 women, though, and really tried, you wouldn't have those beliefs because you would have started to get results, unless you're an extreme outlier. But I've yet to meet someone who had done 500 approaches, who'd taken massive action in a short amount of time and wasn't getting success. That is the logical proof that you have this negative delusional belief that you're not good enough, because you haven't, until you've done a lot of approaches and you've really tried a good amount, you don't have a logical or scientific reason to think that it won't work. You haven't tested it. It's an emotional reason because you don't feel like doing it. And then you rationalize with seeming logic that it's not going to work. But if you actually test out those theories, they'll quickly be disproven. So what you need, if negative delusion is holding you back and causing you not to have success with women, right? Your current situation is not satisfactory. Then it's not crazy to think that maybe positive delusion, telling yourself things that benefit you, that will cause the opposite, that will make you want to start putting yourself out there, that you'll start taking risks, that you'll start being more charismatic. As you do that, you'll start getting more and more positive results, because being bold, being assertive, being masculine are things women reward. But the only way to get that started is to test this theory. And so that's what I challenge you to do, is every time that a woman looks at you, even if she looks away immediately, think that she thought you were hot. Just tell yourself that. Even if you don't believe it, just put that thought in your mind as opposed to something else. And you might not fully believe it at first, but over time, you'll start to get evidence, because you'll start feeling this pull towards those beliefs. And then you really will believe it. And now it's cemented. And now it goes out, then the snowball effect starts. So start telling yourself, anytime a girl looks at you, anytime you see a hot girl, she would be lucky to meet me. Even if she didn't look at you, she would be lucky to meet me. She wants a guy like me. If I approach her, she'll probably want to have sex. Just tell yourself these things. Just think these thoughts. And this is based on cognitive behavioral therapy, where we have what's known as cognitive distortions, like catastrophizing, telling yourself the boyfriend will come in and beat you up or whatever, right? You have these negative thoughts that cause negative emotions. That's the whole basis of the science, is that negative thoughts lead to negative emotions, lead to negative actions, and it all feeds into each other. But the only part you can really control is, or the easiest part to control, I would say is better, is your thoughts. And you can control those just consciously overriding. So You know, if you see girls look at you and then laugh, what are most guys who are shy and not confident with women, what are they going to think? They were laughing at me. What is a guy who is extremely confident with women going to think? They're giggling because they're attracted to me, right? You have no way to know for certain which one it is. You will never know for certain just by observing. But if you think the latter, then you might approach them. You have an incentive to approach them, and you're going to have an incentive to take more action in general. And some of the time, it'll go extremely well. And that proves that at least some of the time, the woman did want you. They did want you to approach, etc. And when it goes badly, it'll almost always be polite and not really negative, unless you come at them with really negative energy or something, right? If you just compliment them, call them attractive, it's not going to go horribly. And so then you let go of these deep negative beliefs and negative emotional anchors. And that's how you do that. That's a very powerful tool for success with women.
First time I ever took Avery's boot camp, I actually just lost my virginity, which is like pretty eye-opening.
What's going on, guys? This is Ron. I'm here out in Vegas on a freaking date boot camp with Avery. So watching these testimonials is the reason I actually came out here. I wanted to get outside my comfort zone. I wanted to approach more, and I've definitely been doing that. I mean, Avery, he pushes you to like, he'll see a hot girl and he'll tell you go approach. So like, I've approached some of the hottest women I ever approached in my life, and I never thought I could do that until I came to this boot camp.
What's up, guys? My name's Andrew. It's like my 20th time recording this fucking video. I'm one of Avery's boot camp clients. Just got off the boot camp like not even 2 days ago. This is my follow-up testimonial to report some success that I've had. Long story short, I got laid from cold approach. And just some context, I'm a guy who has never done cold approach in my life.
Before, I would just go out day after day after day, and you know, I would get, I guess, somewhat success, but I would never attempt for it. I would just get like a whole bunch of dates, whole bunch of instant dates, and I'm just like, all right, it's pretty much already down, so like for sure we're gonna hook up the next time we see each other. And it just never happened. Basically, I see this hot girl. This girl was just standing out here in the chaos of 6th Street, and she was just standing there alone. And I never really attempted to just go for the pull. I always just played it safe, just like, oh, I'll just have complete faith that it's just going down. But Avery heavily expressed, just go for it, just see what happens. So I'm just like, just drop the ego, drop whatever I learned, just do as he said, just do it.
If you guys want to take this boot camp, you definitely should. I definitely recommend it. You're definitely going to improve. Like, it's just gonna build my character more. Like, I'm becoming more confident when I go up to women and talking to them, and I think that's priceless. I wanna thank Avery for like, this boot camp has been awesome. It's been an awesome weekend here in Vegas, you know. Everybody's fun here, and definitely check it out. So I've definitely did more approaches today than I have like previously, like in my whole life, you know. I'm approaching, like, I see a hot girl, like Avery says, you know, just approach, you know, like eliminate all the excuses, and I've gone in more numbers than I ever have. I went on a date from a cold approach, which I've never done before.
I saw Avery on YouTube, and that's why I did the boot camp. I was curious. It's just a great experience. You have a lot of leverage. They help you break down the mental barriers, all the shit you're telling yourself, reasons why you don't do it. It's just a good experience. You get to be around Avery, the guy's about this fucking life. You know, massive fucking respect to Avery. Really inspirational, just being around him. You know, he's going to challenge you the whole night. He's going to go over what you did wrong, what you did right. You're going to learn. But more so than anything, for a guy like me, beginner, complete fucking beginner, going to break down the barriers. Again, I'm someone never cold approached in my fucking life. I end up going and hooking up with, I'm not going to lie, she was fucking pretty fucking hot, all right? Just going to med school. Like, it was a good fucking time. At the end of the day, it's not even about, you know, how many girls are fucking, all this ego shit. To me, at least, it's about that social, emotional freedom and just challenging yourself and getting out of your comfort zone. Because personally, I think that's what life is all about.
Because he's the coach or whatever, right? So I see this girl, and she's like on her phone or whatnot, and she's like, she had like this banging body. And so take her to my hotel, and after that, it's just, I lost my V card. I never thought I'd lose it to like a hot girl for like my first time. I'm just glad I got that reference, so that way I just know I have the ability to do it again. I highly advise you just get his coaching. He'll just iron out the flaws so it just goes by so smoothly. That way, you know, you'll have more wins, and it just builds that certainty on you creating this awesome experience, and you're not flinching when you're just going for whatever you want. He really just hammers on just building like that self-congruence, so that like you are that guy, so that way you can just, you know, act on your intentions and just not be ashamed of it. So yeah. That being said, I highly advise you take his boot camp no matter what skill level.
So quick update, since I did the testimonial, I just met like this really awesome chick. Like she literally just like was telling me that, you know, I'm falling in love with you. It was a crazy experience. Like we started making out. She was telling me like how it all seemed like a movie, and like how it all seemed like it was fate. Like it's my last day here, it's her first day here, and she said it was just like coincidence after coincidence that happened. And like it all seemed to like line up perfectly, and like she kept thanking me throughout the interaction. She kept saying like, I'm so glad that I met you tonight. And then like it just goes to show, you know, like this pickup shit is real, you know. It's like it's not just like fake, or like these girls actually want to be approached. These girls actually like want to have these positive experiences. They get a lot of negative experiences from guys that don't know what they're doing. But if you take like a boot camp with Avery, you're gonna know what to do. So definitely check it out.
To end this, so if you guys are on the fence, at least in my opinion, I think it was a very worthwhile experience just to really put yourself out there, like at all costs, because I'm sure many fucking people can relate, but you know, I'm the type of guy who would like, socializing just seems like kind of like it's not logical, and I'm very logical. I feel like, you know, I could try to go do it by myself, but I'll have like so many fucking reasons. I'll be like, you know, I could go to the gym right now, I can go fucking run a marathon, you know what I mean? And really a lot of it's bullshit, but if you do this boot camp, you'll really find out for yourself this is what it's like, and it's not that fucking bad, and you can really grow as a person.